She thought she was the only one hiding a secret. Until she discovered he had been lying longer and loving her deeper than she ever imagined. Welcome back to Hearts at War, where love never survives without scars. Adrian didn't sleep that night. He just stood there by the window, the vast cityscape laid out before him, its millions of lights flickering like a universe of broken promises. He couldn't get her face out of his mind, the way she looked at him. The shock, the guilt, the raw, undeniable love she hadn't been able to hide. Evelyn Cross, the woman sent to destroy his empire from the inside out, his enemy. What she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly fathom, was that Adrian had known the truth from the very beginning. Weeks before she ever spoke his name, long before their fiery arguments turned into a stolen kiss in the pouring rain, her file had landed on his desk. It was all there in black and white: Evelyn Cross, a spy. Highly trained, ruthlessly efficient, and assigned to infiltrate his world. His first instinct was to have her removed, to treat her like any other threat. But he didn't. He studied her photograph, the defiant spark in her eyes, the subtle hint of weariness around her smile. And he made a choice. He let her in. When Evelyn woke the next morning, the city felt colder, suffocating. She checked her phone for the 100th time. No messages, no missed calls, just an oppressive, deafening silence. It was the loudest punishment of all, and she told herself over and over that she deserved it. She had betrayed him. The silence was his judgment. She deserved every second of it, until a sharp, sudden knock on her door shattered the quiet, making her jump. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She knew who it was. She opened the door, and there he was, Adrian, looking just as sleepless as she felt. The words tumbled out before she could stop them. "You knew," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Adrian didn't deny it. His gaze was steady, intense. "I knew who you were the first night we met." Her breath caught in her throat. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. All those moments, their conversations, the way he looked at her, it was all a lie. Then why? She managed to ask, "Why didn't you stop me? Why let me get so close?" "Because," he said softly, his voice a low rumble that vibrated through her, "I was tired of living like a weapon. Tired of a life where everyone and everything was a transaction, a move on a chessboard." He took a step closer, closing the distance between them until she could feel the heat radiating from him. "And because I want you to believe that even an enemy could choose love." Tears welled in her eyes, blurring his face. "You let me hurt you," she whispered, the guilt crashing over her in a fresh wave. "You let me lie to you. I let you choose," he replied, his voice firm but gentle. "And you did choose me, Evelyn. You chose me every single day, until fear finally chose for you. That was it." The truth she hadn't wanted to admit to herself. She had chosen him, but her fear of being discovered, of the consequences, had made her pull back. Evelyn reached for his hand, her own trembling as her fingers found his. "I was going to walk away from everything," she confessed, the words raw and honest, "from my mission, my past, everything. For you." Adrian looked at her then, really looked at her, and a sad smile touched his lips. "I already did." That was his secret, the one she never could have guessed. While she was playing the part of a spy, he was systematically dismantling his own life for her. He had canceled deals, severed long-standing alliances, and turned against his own allies, making powerful enemies in the process. He had been clearing a path for them, a future where they could be free, for her. But love, especially a love born from betrayal, always has consequences. As if on cue, a phone buzzed sharply in the quiet room. Adrian's expression changed instantly, his jaw tightening, the softness in his eyes replaced by a familiar, hard glint. He pulled out his phone, glanced at the screen, and his face went pale. "They know," he said, his voice grim. "Who?" she asked, her own fear rising to meet his. He looked at her, his eyes dark with the weight of their new reality, both sides. The silence that fell between them was heavier than any before. Enemies don't forgive betrayal, and they certainly don't forgive it for love. Adrian took a step back, creating a space between them that felt like a chasm. "If you stay with me," he said, his voice flat and serious, "you'll never be safe again. They will hunt you." Evelyn didn't even hesitate. She looked him straight in the eye, her resolve hardening into steel. "Neither were you. And you still stayed." Outside, the distant wail of sirens began to grow louder, Closer, a mournful cry cutting through the morning air. And somewhere in the shadows of the city, someone was already hunting them both. Should they run, or should they fight together? Subscribe to Hearts at War to find out what happens next, because when love becomes a choice, war becomes personal. Thanks for watching.